Prostate cancer, erectile dysfunction, and muscle deterioration climb rapidly after age 60. Yet, most men have no idea how much their daily routines are accelerating this decline. Especially one simple habit that requires less than 3 minutes a day to undo the damage. Each morning you wake up with stiff hips, sluggish circulation, and a weakened pelvic floor. Without realizing it, you may be diminishing the size, strength, and endurance of something very private, your manhood. But here's the positive news. You can begin reversing this as soon as tomorrow morning, even before your first sip of coffee. Let me ask you a direct, slightly uncomfortable question. How many hours do you spend sitting every day? If it's more than 6, you're likely causing more harm than you think. Extended sitting compresses the pelvic muscles, restricts blood flow to the groin, and reduces oxygen and nutrient delivery that support firm, lasting erections. This isn't just about comfort. It's about your health, your vitality, and possibly even your relationship. Ignore it, and here's the typical chain of events. First, blood circulation slows. As flow weakens, erections become softer, take longer to appear, and grow increasingly unreliable. Then testosterone begins to fall. Movement is one of the easiest ways to preserve healthy hormone levels. Without it, levels drop. This sparks a destructive loop: less motion, more fat, lower testosterone, and weaker erections. Meanwhile, the hidden pelvic floor muscles, the ones that control firmness, stamina, and even orgasm intensity, start to waste away. As they weaken, you lose strength and control. Ever noticed your flaccid size looks smaller now than years ago? That may not be your imagination. A weakened pelvic foundation, restricted blood flow, and tight muscles can literally shorten the visible length of the penis, even at rest. Add to this the growing threat of visceral fat, the dangerous belly fat around your organs. And both prostate and heart health take a hit. The Cleveland Clinic reports that increased abdominal fat is strongly linked to prostate enlargement and erectile issues, conditions that impact nearly half of men over 60. And as fat builds, an enzyme called aromatase begins converting testosterone into estrogen. The result? Lower desire, reduced energy, and shrinking confidence in the bedroom. But here's the key: most men don't realize it's happening, and they definitely don't realize how close they are to restoring what's been lost. Here's a twist: there's a simple pelvic activation routine that takes less than 3 minutes. And no, it's not the usual Kegels. In fact, many urologists are now recommending this upgraded method that not only stimulates erectile nerves but can also improve flaccid length by releasing hidden pelvic tightness. Sounds interesting? It should, because this is just the beginning. Let's start with circulation. Erections are, at the core, a hydraulic process. Blood fills in, pressure builds, and the outcome is a strong, lasting erection. According to Harvard Health, erection quality is about 90% dependent on healthy blood flow. That's why men with cardiovascular disease, poor circulation, or diabetes often suffer from ED. As we age, inflammation and plaque stiffen the arteries, and nitric oxide, the molecule that relaxes blood vessels, declines. But studies show that even light, dynamic activity in the morning can counter this effect. In fact, older men in a Harvard study who walked just 30 minutes daily saw significant improvements in erectile quality. And you don't even need a full walk. Try this instead. Before breakfast, do 60 seconds of brisk marching in place to slightly raise your heart rate. Then add 30 seconds of hip swings and leg bows. These movements gently loosen the hips, stretch the groin, and redirect blood toward the pelvis. Think of it like opening a dam. Once circulation flows south, everything improves. Now, about your muscles, the ones you can't see, but definitely feel when they work. Your pelvic floor. Most men have heard of Kegels, but what they don't realize is that Kegels alone don't provide the full activation needed for solid, rigid erections. In fact, doing too many can create more pelvic tension. That's why urologists are now promoting dynamic pelvic movements such as glute bridges, deep squats, and core-driven breathing. These mimic the natural contractions involved in arousal, blood retention, and climax. A strong pelvic base forms the anchor for your erections. When it's active, you gain better rigidity, control, and even an apparent increase in size. Here's a move to try. Lie on your back, knees bent, feet flat. Press through your heels, lifting hips toward the ceiling. Engage your glutes, not your lower back. Hold for 2 seconds, lower slowly, repeat for 30 seconds. This glute bridge pulse activates the pelvic floor and core, while also increasing circulation in the lower abdomen. Now let's move to hormones. With age, testosterone becomes a priceless resource. While some men turn to therapy, there are natural ways to protect and even raise it. One of the best is exercise. The Mayo Clinic confirms that regular, moderate activity stimulates natural hormone production. But not all movement is equal. Compound moves like squats, core holds, and diaphragmatic breathing trigger spikes in testosterone and growth hormone. Our upcoming 3-minute routine blends all three: leg power, deep core engagement, and full body breathing. Let's not forget nitric oxide. That's the very molecule Viagra targets. But you can enhance it naturally with diet. Foods like beets and spinach are nitrate-rich, boosting nitric oxide in the body. For zinc and selenium, a single Brazil nut a day supports testosterone production. Simple additions after your morning routine. But none of this matters if your body stays locked in pelvic tension. Tight hips, rigid abs, and overworked groin muscles literally pull your penis inward, reducing visible length. Just like stretching your back straightens posture, pelvic stretches improve presentation. The Cleveland Clinic notes that fascia, connective tissue, responds to breathwork and light stretching. Try this. Kneel in a lunge with one knee down. Tilt your pelvis forward slightly, keeping chest tall and breathing deeply. Hold 30 seconds per side. This opens the hips and pelvis, allowing more natural length to show. Now picture this, combining glute bridges, deep squats, pelvic stretches, and mobility drills into one seamless 3-minute flow every morning. It wakes up your circulation, hormones, and pelvic foundation before sunrise. And here's something surprising: your flaccid penis isn't just hanging there. It's a health indicator. Men with better pelvic blood flow and nervous system balance often report up to an inch gain in flaccid length after weeks of practice. Not from pills, pumps, or gimmicks, but from releasing muscles and tissue that compressed you over time. We often laugh about aging, but when performance declines, it's not funny. It's personal. Your confidence, vitality, and intimacy are tied to how your body responds. But here's the truth. You don't need hours in the gym to fight back. You need consistency, simple movement, and understanding your body systems. The tools are already inside you. You just need to turn them on. Here's how. Your daily 3-minute sequence. Step 1. Spark blood flow with 60 seconds of brisk marching. Feet shoulder width apart, arms pumping, breathing naturally. This isn't exercise, it's a wake-up signal. Step 2. 30 seconds of hip swings. Hold a chair or wall for support. Swing one leg forward and back, then switch. This loosens tight hip flexors and channels blood downward. Step 3. 30 seconds of body weight squats. Feet wider than hips, sit back gently, chest lifted, knees safe. 10 to 15 controlled reps with deep breaths. Step 4. 30 seconds of glute bridge pulses. On your back, feet flat, hips rising and lowering. Squeeze glutes at the top. This is where you'll feel the pelvic floor activating. Step 5. 30 seconds of kneeling hip stretch. One knee down, one foot forward, pelvis tucked slightly. Chest up, slow breathing. Switch sides. Pause. Notice how you feel. More awake, more open. That's your pelvic engine turning back on. This 3-minute flow may seem small, but consistency beats intensity. You're not training for a marathon. You're retraining your vitality, confidence, and function. And here's proof. Men who commit to these routines for just 21 days often notice major changes: stronger morning wood, better posture, more energy, and yes, greater presence in the bedroom. Take Dan, a 67-year-old retired firefighter. He emailed after trying this flow from a video like this. He doubted it at first. 3 minutes won't fix 20 years, he said. But 3 weeks later he wrote back, "I feel stronger, firmer, and more alive. For the first time in years, my wife noticed me walking out of the shower." That's the type of quiet victory men hope for. And the research agrees. Harvard Health, Mayo Clinic, and the Cleveland Clinic all highlight the connection between circulation, pelvic health, and hormones as keys to male vitality. This 3-minute routine directly taps into those pillars, but is tailored for men over 60. Because at this stage, one-size-fits-all workouts don't cut it. You need safer, smarter, more targeted moves that strengthen without strain, lift hormones instead of blood pressure, and are simple enough to stick with daily. This one can be done in your bedroom before brushing your teeth. So how do you make it stick? Use habit stacking. Attach it to something you already do, like before coffee or before a shower. When it becomes automatic, the habit lasts. And when you start noticing firmer mornings, more drive, and a sharper edge in your step, you won't want to stop. Here's the final takeaway. Aging is inevitable. Decline is optional. The man you were in your 30s or 40s is still there. He just needs better conditions to thrive. Strong blood flow, engaged pelvic muscles, healthy hormones, and daily movement. These aren't luxuries, they're fundamentals. And reclaiming them starts with just 3 minutes each morning. If this message resonated, make sure to subscribe here at Dr. Clara Health Hub. We're creating a community of men who refuse to let aging define their vitality, confidence, and masculinity. And if you'd like the complete step-by-step video of this morning flow, tap the next video link right on your screen. No pills, no gimmicks, just science, simple movements, and a daily commitment to reclaim your prime. You're not past your best years, you're just getting started. Let's begin.